Tragedy struck Makassar, Indonesia, casting a dark shadow over the city and its people. On the night of August 29, 2025, a devastating fire tore through the South Sulawesi Regional Parliament building, one of the city's most important landmarks. The blaze spread with terrifying speed, engulfing the building and trapping people inside. Firefighters and emergency responders raced against time, but the flames quickly overwhelmed their efforts. At least 3 people lost their lives, 2 perished inside the burning structure, while a third succumbed to injuries later in hospital. The tragedy left families and the entire community in mourning. 5 others were injured, some forced to leap from windows in desperate attempts to escape the inferno. The chaos and fear of that night will not soon be forgotten. Authorities have pointed fingers at protesters, alleging that the fire was deliberately set during a violent demonstration that spiraled out of control. What began as a political protest has now become a deadly criminal investigation, with police and investigators working tirelessly to uncover the truth behind the tragedy. The Makassar fire is just one incident in a much larger wave of unrest and anger that has been sweeping across Indonesia in recent months. Protests over economic hardship, government policies, and social inequality have escalated into violence nationwide, leaving many cities on edge. The burned parliament now stands as a grim symbol of the deepening rift between the people and their government, a stark reminder of the cost of unrest. The nation is on edge with tensions rising, uncertainty in the air, and the risk of further tragedy looming over communities everywhere. The world is watching closely as Indonesia faces a critical turning point, hoping for peace and resolution in the days ahead. The nationwide outrage began with a viral video that spread like wildfire across social media platforms. It showed a police tactical vehicle running over and killing delivery driver Afan Kurniawan during a protest, a moment that was both shocking and heartbreaking. The graphic footage quickly became a symbol of unchecked state power and injustice, igniting a firestorm of public outrage. Before this tragic incident, protests were primarily focused on economic grievances, issues like low wages, rising costs, and government excess. Afan's untimely death transformed simmering anger into a unified movement demanding justice and police accountability, a cause that resonated deeply with the public. His story resonated with millions, turning his name into a rallying cry for change and justice. In response, police have announced investigations into 7 officers involved, but public trust remains low and skepticism high. For many, these steps are seen as too little, too late, and do not address the root causes of the problem. The demand is for real, tangible change, not just empty promises or superficial reforms. The tragedy has united diverse groups across the nation, fueling protests that show no sign of stopping anytime soon. The call for justice grows louder with each passing day, echoing through the streets and hearts of the people. Protests have erupted across Indonesia, from Jakarta to Bandung and Makassar. Demonstrations have turned violent, with arson targeting both government and private buildings. In Bandung, fires consumed banks and restaurants, while Jakarta's public transport was crippled by attacks on bus stops. Emergency services are stretched thin, and the economic toll is mounting. Over 200 protesters have been injured in clashes with police, deepening public anger. The cycle of violence and retaliation is escalating, making resolution elusive. Indonesia's unrest is now a national crisis with no clear end in sight. The world watches as the stakes rise. Jakarta, Indonesia's capital, is the epicenter of the unrest. Protesters have gathered outside the Brimob police headquarters, the unit involved in Afan's death. Clashes are intense, stones and firecrackers from protesters, tear gas and water cannons from police. Parts of the city resemble a conflict zone, with daily life paralyzed and public transport disrupted. The anger on the streets is palpable, and the movement shows no sign of fading. Protesters demand justice, police reform, and real government accountability. Until these demands are met, Jakarta remains a flashpoint for Indonesia's crisis. The confrontation grows more dangerous by the day. President Prabowo Subianto, now facing the most significant test of his leadership, has made a heartfelt appeal to the nation, urging citizens to remain calm and show restraint in these turbulent times. His message is clear: unity and patience are needed as the country navigates this crisis. He's promised a thorough and transparent investigation into Afan's tragic death, personally visiting the grieving family to offer his condolences and demonstrate solidarity with those affected by the unrest. His presence is meant to reassure the public that justice will be pursued. Yet, despite his assurances, the president's words are being tested on the streets, where violence continues and police have responded with force, escalating tensions and fueling public anger. The government now walks a delicate tightrope, trying to restore order and stability without provoking even greater outrage or deepening the divide between authorities and the people. Deep mistrust of the government, combined with widespread economic frustration, means that these protests are unlikely to subside anytime soon, and the sense of unrest continues to grow. Experts and analysts warn that only genuine reforms, transparent justice, and meaningful dialogue with the public will be enough to ease the crisis and begin rebuilding trust in the government. Indonesia now stands at a crucial crossroads, its future direction hinging on how its leaders choose to respond to this moment of national reckoning. The world is watching closely, waiting to see if this tragedy will finally spark the real change that so many Indonesians have long demanded.